Good evening, I'm Olivia Quay. Thanks for joining us on ST Live. At about 6:30 p.m, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong announced in a statement that Minister Lawrence Wong has been endorsed as the leader of the People's Action Party's 4G team. Well, this paves the way for Mr. Wong, the current Finance Minister, to be Singapore's next Prime Minister. PM Lee saying in the statement that when Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Keat stepped aside as the 4G leader in April last year, the 4G requested time to arrive at a consensus as to who should lead them. They had to focus then on the COVID-19 pandemic. The 4G team has worked closely together through the past 2 years of the pandemic and had the opportunity to better understand each other's strengths. PM Lee goes on to say, quote, "With the pandemic situation stabilized, we are now able to relook the issue of succession. So, with this decision on Mr. Wong, PM Lee will make adjustments to cabinet appointments. These will be announced in due course." And PM Lee ends the statement with, "This decision on succession is a crucial one for Singapore. It will ensure the continuity and stability of leadership that are the hallmarks of our system. The ministers recognise that the right to lead cannot be inherited. Mr. Lawrence Wong and his younger team will continue to give their best to Singaporeans and justify their trust and support." Well, Mr. Wong has responded in a social media post, saying, "I am humbled and grateful for the trust and confidence of my colleagues who have chosen me to lead them. I am also deeply grateful for the support of my fellow MPs. My colleagues in the 4G leadership have stood shoulder to shoulder with each other in the fight against COVID-19. The experience of the past 2 years has cemented our cohesiveness and strengthened our resolve to steward Singapore safely through this crisis and beyond. It is my privilege to be called upon to lead this team. I will do my utmost to uphold this responsibility." Our opinion editor, Grace Ho, joins me now. So Grace, first of all, your reaction, your thoughts on this announcement?
Well, I think many of us would have seen quite a lot of speculation about the announcement date. And I recall when MP Christopher D'Souza in February implored the ruling party to quickly decide on who the next PM will be. There were Facebook trolls probably telling him to calm down or saying, "Cannot wait." Well, I mean, the wait is over now. And the statement released, I think, was quite clear in the sense that there was overwhelming support among the ministers for the selection of Mr. Wong. I think leading up to this had been a whole series of articles in the local and foreign press, right, about when the announcement would take place, whether it would be at the end of the year, ahead of the usual party conference, now clearly too late. Others had passed the recent social media presence of the two ministers widely regarded to be the front runners, Mr. Wong and Health Minister Ong Ye Kung. People were talking about their new TikTok videos. But I think in the end, overall, I think to the party's credit, the passing of the baton has largely been uneventful. If you look at the simple 2-page statement, it explained the consultation process, it stressed continuity and stability of leadership, and in a nod to Singapore's meritocratic ideals, it said that the ministers recognize that the right to lead cannot be inherited. So yes, that's my initial thoughts.
Well, Grace, today's announcement, it paves the way for Mr. Wong to become the next Prime Minister. Meanwhile, PM Lee will make adjustments to cabinet appointments. Would this then make Mr. Wong Deputy Prime Minister first, do you think?
Well, I mean, yes, based on past precedent, that should be the case. And I think there will also be cabinet changes that usually come with that. But as to what sort of changes, we'll just have to wait and see.
I see. Well, rounding off our discussion, Grace, what gave Mr. Wong the edge, shall we say, over the other two frontrunners, Ministers Ong Ye Kung and Chan Chun Sing?
Yeah, I suppose the easy way to do this is to look at it as a race between the three people, right? What sort of like a horse race style of coverage. It's a kind of convenient hook for this, but I don't think that I mean, we necessarily have to see it this way. It really was, as Mr. Wong said, shoulder to shoulder. It was a team effort. there was obviously a huge pandemic raging. And in the end, it's up to Singaporeans to decide if they trust and support Mr. Wong and his team. But I'm reminded of what I think someone told me in an interview last year, where he cited, Plato's of the Republic. He talked about a philosopher Socrates who said that, the proper motive for ruling is that one is compelled to rule. And the best reason for wanting to be a ruler is necessity, and not because one is grasping for it. And I think to all intents and purposes, everyone on the 4G team, has been compelled to step up, through sheer necessity and not because they were grasping for it. If you look at Mr. Wong, he's been in politics since 2011, and he has steadily climbed up the ministerial ranks without courting much media attention, actually. Only until he was named, co-chair of the task force, which is when he was thrust into the spotlight. And he, together with his colleagues, have come into their own. So you've seen them being a calm and steady presence at the many media conferences that they have held. And I think Mr. Wong in particular also steering, the budget this year, which focused on fairness, inclusion, green society. Very simple but resonant messages. The responses in Parliament have been very clear, very persuasive, generally rather unruffled manner. And I think that has gone down well with the public.
Many thanks to the Straits Times' opinion editor Grace Ho for sharing your insights. Well, for more updates and analysis on Minister Lawrence Wong being named the leader of PAP's 4G team, paving the way for him to become Singapore's Prime Minister, go to straitstimes.com as well as Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to hit subscribe to stay informed and activate the bell icon on YouTube to catch live news updates. I'm Olivia Quay. Thanks so much for watching and have a good night.